Hello my friend, it's Pat Sloan here with my daily video. Today is the 15th, and so that means it is Charity Quilt Day. So we are doing a charity sew along with the Fat Quarter Shop called Serendipity, which supports Make-A-Wish, which is fabulous. My quilt will be auctioned again. I've auctioned to raise funds for Make-A-Wish. I think mine's been auctioned 3 years in a row now. This might be the 4th or the 5th year. I have to go back and check. So the blocks today are called Windfall, and they're really an amazing star block. Mine are done in Morrison Park, so let me just show you mine. I love that it has this little courthouse steps in the center of the star. Isn't that cute? That is so cute. And well, I'll put it this way. So you have fussy cut, the paisley print from Morrison Park for the middle. All of mine are done in the reds, greens, and pinks. So you can see that my quilt looks a lot different than the one that the Fat Quarter Shop is doing, which is on a navy background with blues, light blues and yellows. So it's quite a different look. So here's another one with a courthouse step, and I believe we're setting them like this. So some will go this way, some will go that way, and I am going to be setting my row because I need to have mine done so that it can be quilted and photographed and go and get ready for the auction by the time that we're finished. So I have to work a little bit ahead of all of you. So here's the last one for this row, and it's a row quilt. So here is a picture of the quilt as it is. So we have 3 rows so far. I'll show you real quick. I've done the sewed the rows together. So there's row 1. Now, do you see all the colors? I got tiny little pops of my gold fabric in there. And then last time we did one of the flying geese. There's 2 of these in the project, in the quilt. You'll see one further down. I love these. Don't you think this would be a cute border? I could see doing this as a border of a quilt. Particularly if you love flying geese. I did have, speaking of flying geese, somebody actually wrote me a note recently and said, why do you always do the flying geese the one way in your free patterns? And I said, well, it's because I write just one set of directions for my free patterns, and then that just gets reused so that I don't have to write more detailed directions. I do have my triangle book, and you can take the triangle book and do flying geese many different ways, or if you have a favorite method of doing flying geese, do it your favorite way. But for my patterns, I just have one type of direction. You'll find the same thing that most designers do that. They'll have one way that they show you, but you can certainly do it any other way. Now there's also a cross stitch component to the Serendipity. And here is, let me see if I can get it picked up. I think my computer just shut itself off. That's why I looked over there. I'm like, what was that? I heard the noise that it's like rebooting. I'm like, oh, that's lovely. So here is the cross stitch, which is pretty much like the quilt, but a little, not quite as detailed. So you can see that the star doesn't have, like the star for this week doesn't have a log cabin in the middle. And I'm just doing one from each row to do a little long strip that I'm going to stuff and make into like a little pillow and put it in my decorations. Whoops, let's get it this way. There we go. So I have the 3 rows. I'm working on the star right now, which, my goal with this cross stitch is to have every day do a little cross stitch, try to get that in my rhythm. And I've set up this, I would call it the cross stitch station for April. So I'm going to pop this picture up here. What I did is I cleared off the top of my counter there, and I've put my cross stitch stuff so that I can come and leave it out and leave it all out, all set up, and I can just take a little break, like between going from my computer over to the kitchen or to whatever I'm doing. I can just take a little break and go do a little bit of cross stitch each day, and it is working out really well, although that is a lot of space in my studio to devote to cross stitch. So after April, I will have to put it in its own little basket in the rolling carts. I will have to put it back, like I've got one of the rolling cart shelves will have to go back to being the cross stitch station, but maybe I'll put it in the top one for May and see how that goes, so that it's right on top, because I've been keeping it like on the second shelf, so maybe that's not been the best option. Who knows, right? You know, it takes a while to build a habit. There is a saying out there that says if you do something for 21 days, it becomes a habit. Well, it's not true for everybody, because I am living proof. I think I might need 21 years for it to become a habit, or 21 months maybe. Let's be more realistic. At 21 months, it just takes me a long time to make a new habit. I'm not a quick habit former. 21 days is like, pfft, I can easily on day 22 stop doing that thing, whatever it is. No problem whatsoever. So a little mail call. Mary sent me this super cute card. Look at this. The Fabric Addicts. So funny. I love it. I love it. I like the buy the fabric one. Yeah, buy the fabric. And then she sent me some goodies, these super great cleaners. I think these look awesome. And then she found an adorable piece of fabric with rain boots on it, because she knows I like to garden. And so she saw this and had to get it for me. Isn't that sweet? Look at that. Look how cute those rain boots are. I need, where's the one with the, there's here. I need this pair. Okay, let me order those pair. Oh, look at the stripes. Ah, and the polka dots. There's stripes and polka dots too. Maybe I need several rain boots. I have no rain boots. I think I need to order some. So if you have rain boots that you love, that are cute, I don't want any not cute rain boots. Don't be sending me those ugly ones. You know, I don't want links to those. So send me a link to cute cute rain boots. So maybe I'll order a pair. Now today also is journaling day, so that you will get up to date on any journaling that you're doing. If you're keeping track of what you finished, your progress every month, get your quilt journal out and update it. I took a look at my progress sheet, my little progress sheet I've been doing. It's not looking as good. We're in the middle of the month and I've only completed one thing. But I am working on that next book, so there's a lot of time that has to go into that. And I have been doing the cross stitch, but I did get the binding on the red and white. So the red and white is here because it's on one half. It's half done. So it's got half the binding. So I have to do the other half and pull it over. Hopefully that is tonight. And then hand stitch the sleeve. And this will be hanging here in the studio on the B side of my table. So you'll see it behind me when I sit on the other side of the table. That is where this is going. Now, in the spirit of keeping the economy going, the other day somebody in the Facebook group, which is Quilt Along with Pat Sloan, if you're not over in my Facebook group, please come along. And if you have not subscribed yet, go right down here and click the subscribe so that we can stay in touch. You miss a lot if you don't subscribe. People write me every day saying, I've missed all of these videos. I only got one of them. So, you know, subscribe. Just keep the economy going. We had somebody shared this fabric with the Pyrex. They're probably not true Pyrex plates. I don't know. I don't know if it's licensed to Pyrex or not, but they look like it. So Retro Kitchen is called, Retro Kitchen. So I had to get a piece of it because it's just so cute. Could be a placemat, could be a bag. I just love it. But I also, and then I'm going to show you this next thing, but they're all gone. So I'm sorry, but you can look around. Maybe you can find it on Etsy somewhere, but they're all gone already. By the time I got mine in, they were sold, because we were talking about this on the Facebook group, so everybody was over buying it. But they had a panel. Move back there. There was a panel, and I just had to have that. Look! Look, 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 look. Oh my gosh, so cute. So maybe you can find one if you look around. It's long, 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 long. So, bon appetit. I just think that's darling. It's got all the bowls stacked up. You know, sometimes you just have to buy it. And that's just the way life is. It's like, I don't know. I had to have it. Okay, I've got a Q&A today. And it was one that I touched base on. It's sort of like a companion. I touched base on it the other day, and somebody, Harriet wrote me and asked me, how do I keep from chopping my points off on like stars or, you know, any kind of angle? And I have a whole tutorial. So down below in the description box is a link to the tutorial over at my website on the tutorial page. If you go there, there is, how to keep from chopping your points off. If you look in my triangle book, I have it in the triangle book. But let me pop up some pictures here. First of all, you need to be sure where the point of the star matches, you have a 1/4 inch seam allowance left. So if you have sewn it and there's no 1/4 inch seam allowance, go back and fix it. It won't get any better as you go forward. If it's wrong right then, it will continue to be wrong. So that's the first thing you have to do. When you sew your star, and here, okay, I'm like looking around for something to show you. Heck, we've got star blocks today. So when you sew your star, there should be a 1/4 inch seam right here, between that point and the end. If there isn't, fix it. Okay, so that's the first thing. Then when you're sewing this, if you press it so that you can see the point, because this is what I showed you the other day, if you pressed it like this, your point is hidden underneath, and it makes it harder to sew. Then when you attach this to the next piece of fabric, whether it's a sashing or another block, you want to be able to see as many of the points as possible on the top where you're sewing. And it's not possible all the time, because if I'm attaching 2 star blocks and maybe they're offset, offset like this, when I'm sewing, like pretend there's other blocks, there would be a star point underneath this intersection right here. So in that case, I always want to do a peek, like peek in there, and I will put a pin so I can be sure. And as I get closer to it, I might pull the seam over a little bit and peek, like say, yeah, I'm still on target, so I don't chop it off. So hopefully that tutorial will help you a little bit. Oh, and if you want to see the back, the pressing, there you go. This one is pressed so that you can see everything. And that's really the main ways that you don't chop off your points. They don't get chopped off just randomly. They're chopped off because, first of all, you don't have that seam. You don't have a 1/4 inch seam there. That one's gunky, so you can't see it there. So see the 1/4 inch seam? Yeah. So if there isn't a 1/4 inch between that point and the top, and you can see it on the front here. See, there's a whole 1/4 inch. If that isn't there, then the first thing you do is fix it. And from that point on, you should be very easy to not chop it off. There you go. That's the answer to life, to not chopping off your points. All right, my friend, it is a rainy, crappy day while I'm taping this. And so I'm like looking out at it raining again. April has been quite wet. So I'm hoping the second half of April is a little drier. I can even stand it being a little chilly. I just like to be able to, have a little sun, ready for sun. Okay. Go ahead and make your stars for your charity quilt. Update your journals. I will see you online. I love you. Bye-bye.